A warm welcome to the official YouTube channel of Silver Fern Education Consultants, your go-to platform for insights on studying abroad. I am Varun Atolia, the Vice President of Silver Fern Education Consultants, and today we have an esteemed guest with us from one of the most prestigious colleges of Canada, Mr. Eric Simard, the Director of International Recruitment and Market Development from Fanshawe College. So Fanshawe College stands out as a beacon of international students seeking career-oriented education in Canada. Its robust programs not only cater to academic excellence, but also provide invaluable opportunities to international students that pave their way for real-world success. Today, let's delve into what makes Fanshawe College a prime destination in Canada's dynamic education landscape and talk about what international students actually need to know about Canadian education and securing a future there. So thank you, Eric, for joining us today and taking out the time for today's podcast.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Great. So without further ado, I'm going to jump to the questions. Yeah. So Eric, how has your experience been in the education industry as an education leader?
Yes, I've spent the better part of my career working for Ontario universities, but I'm very passionate about international students, and I saw an opportunity at Fanshawe College to join an excellent, superb team of leaders who think critically about how we can shape our country and the types of students that are going to benefit not only by coming here, but also what they have to offer to our country and our community.
Eric, what challenges do you think international students face when they come to Canada for their higher education?
That's a great question. I mean, I think it's a challenge to come to a new country and try something new. But I think even if students are thinking about that, they already have the resiliency required to be successful in Canada. It takes dedication, it takes a commitment, and it's not going to be easy at all times. Students have a very different journey. Each of them have a very unique journey. Sometimes it's great for a little period of time, then there's usually moments of difficulty, and then they come back to that great feeling. But I think all students, whether you're domestically studying here in India or if you're studying in Canada, go through those kind of ups and downs within their educational journey. I think for coming to Canada, I think the uncertainty that's been created with rule changes, with lots of what's happened in the media in terms of the relationship between Canada and India has been trying for students. It's been difficult, but I think there's still lots of great opportunity in Canada for students from this region. I think there's lots of opportunity in Canada for their families and for growth and jobs. Those careers still exist, even if the governments don't always see eye to eye. I think it's important to recognize that we still need that addition to our population. We have an incredibly large land mass, a very small population in Canada, and for us to continue to grow our economy, we need the expertise brought by international students.
So Eric, you spoke about the job markets in Canada. So I want to understand for our audience that how Fanshawe is helping students in securing jobs and a promising career after they graduate from Fanshawe.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it starts right away, right? So students come to Fanshawe and one of the first things that we do is an orientation to Canada, an orientation to Fanshawe. That happens on day one. And within that session, we host a career management workshop. So we have experts from our career management team. They come into the session, they talk about how to secure a part-time job, how to access all of the resources and support systems within the college. And that happens on day one, right? Orientation before you even attend your first class. I think that's an important part. From there, students work directly with their own individual counselors and with the counseling team to support them in getting that first part-time job, which gives them skills and experience in Canada, lets them practice interview skills, lets them practice all of the networking skills required to land that first part-time job. Students study for up to 24 hours a week so they work for 24 hours a week while they study, and that's an important part of the journey for students. From there, we help students attain their postgraduate work permit with support from our international immigration advisors. We have 6 on staff full-time, and those immigration advisors are available throughout the day to work with you as a student. I think that's an incredibly important part because the immigration piece is hard. It's challenging to navigate all of those policies and all of those forms and documents that are required. And throughout your journey as a student, one of the things that happens is that you gain those skills, you get more confident while you're at Fanshawe College, and you build the professional network. I think it's important to recognize that students, they go through this learning process, right? How to adapt to the Canadian landscape, how to adapt to the marketplace in Canada, what are employers in Canada looking for? And I think that it's a challenge for all students, absolutely, but I think Fanshawe College does an exceptionally good job of preparing them for that journey and working with them until they secure that employment. Fanshawe has one of the highest employment rates coming out of their undergrad programs or their certificate programs. I think that's an incredibly strong statistic that really helps us show the great work that we do and the great success that students can have in London, Ontario.
Thank you. So Eric, my next question is that what skills do you think are important for students to gain during their academic journey to be able to secure a job in which they can perform better? And also, are there any programs in which you are introducing AI or automation to make them gain those skills which are required at the workplace?
Yeah, that's another great question. Yeah. Each year, program committees and the program coordinators and the faculty members of those programs have to meet with what's called a program advisory committee. Yeah. Those are industry experts, people who work in that field of study or in that subject matter. They work in that space. Our coordinators and our faculty members have to meet with them, and that's where they gain insights into what's happening in the marketplace, what new technology is being introduced, how do we prepare students for the future in that space, how do we make sure that they have the right skills to get those jobs when they graduate. That happens every single year for every single program at Fanshawe College. That's an integral part to learning what the actual job market needs from our teaching, and it transforms each year. We slightly shift our programs to meet those needs of our employers. So it's really closely connected. There's a direct connection there to what's happening in the labor market. And so there's lots of changes depending on the program. Those changes are quite different. Obviously in the IT world and in the IT infrastructure, that's changing weekly in some cases. And faculty members who worked or traditionally have worked in industry also teach part-time for Fanshawe. So we get industry experts actually in the classroom delivering that content. The other thing that we do that I think is really important is that college in Canada, colleges in Ontario, is going to be a very different learning experience for students than what they're used to. Right? They come from a theoretical background where a faculty member, your professor is lecturing, they're teaching you skills, they're teaching you things, you're taking notes, you're studying those notes, and then you're tested on that knowledge. In the college sector, it's really a skills-based training program. We're teaching you the exact skills you're going to need to do the actual job you're going into. So, and what I mean teaching those skills, we're also allowing them to practice those skills. So if you go into a welding program, there are welding stations set up for every student. The faculty member will show you what's being welded today, and then you will go work at a station and you will practice that skill. The same thing happens for CRM and marketing management. The same thing happens for PSW, where you work chairside or bedside with actual patients to learn and practice those skills alongside an industry expert. So it's very hands-on in terms of the learning style, and that is very different for students from coming abroad. And so it's important to recognize that that's what you're doing when you come to a college, especially an Ontario college.
Thank you. What are some of the most prominent programs do you recommend to international students coming to Fanshawe for their higher education?
Yeah. The Canadian government has actually made this quite easy for us over the last year, in that they've identified areas within the labor market where there's need, right? We need employees, we need training in that area, we need to bring students into Canada who can learn these skills and go off into the labor market. So they've identified which programs qualify students to stay and work in the country after they graduate. We call those the PGWP aligned programs. At Fanshawe College, as of today, right this second, we have 91 programs on that list. And those programs range from healthcare to IT, some business programs, there's some engineering programs, there's a very diverse grouping of programs. And the diversity is there partially because Fanshawe College is an extremely large institution, a large organization that has served its community for a long period of time. And it's also a long list because, frankly, the Canadian job market, the employment, the labor market of Canada, is a diverse place, right? We do all of those things, and we need all of those people. So seems like a short list compared to what we used to recruit to a couple years ago. But I would say, for students who are looking to come to Canada, there's a very wide range of things that they can come, learn the skills to do, and secure a job very, very, very quickly when they finish their program.
So Eric, what do you think about the recent changes by IRCC in terms of international students, and what do you think, how will it impact the international students in future in Canada?
I think the changes have been difficult for students to understand and follow because there's been a series of changes. They've happened over the last year. And I think it's created a lot of apprehension for students, making them pause and say, is Canada the right place for me? But I think ultimately it's going to benefit Canada. I think it's ultimately going to benefit the students who choose to come to Canada in a couple of different ways, but mostly because of that apprehension, there's fewer students who want to come. There's fewer students who want to come today. So those who are brave, who are courageous, who have the resiliency to adapt to the fact that it's uncertain, those students are going to come at a time where there's less students coming to Canada, thereby meaning that there are more job opportunities because there's fewer people competing for those same spots. In addition, because the government has highlighted exactly which programs have alignment to which jobs and which programs will allow students to be successful in Canada. They've made a very clear signal that if you do these programs, this list of PGWP aligned programs, you're going to land a job. You're going to have a career in Canada because we have a shortage of people who have that skill in our country, and we need you. So I think it's a really great time to be brave, to be courageous, and to take your chance and come to Canada. I honestly do feel that way.
So Eric, Fanshawe College has always been a great support to international students. So would you like to talk about that a bit more?
Yeah, happy to do so. I would say there's a few things that we're doing to support students at this time. One of the great things that we've introduced is a series of new scholarships to support students and help them with the cost of living when they come to Canada. The first is if you apply between now and June 15th, 2025, you'll be eligible for a $2,000 scholarship, which will be applied directly to your first term. We've also introduced what's called a spousal scholarship. So if you come and study at Fanshawe College and you bring your spouse who also wants to study at Fanshawe, depending on the duration of the program, you'd be eligible for up to $14,000 Canadian dollars towards your studies. So it's a really great opportunity for you and your spouse and your family to come to Canada, study at Fanshawe, and stay in Canada.
So Eric, what do you recommend as the next step for the students to do to start their journey as an international student?
I think research is an incredibly important part of this journey. You have to figure out what program you're going to study and what is the best path for you, given your educational background, given what you want to accomplish in your future. And probably the best way to do that is to work with an expert who's comfortable in this space, who knows the programs, who knows what Fanshawe has to offer. And so I'd say come in and meet with an advisor, come in and talk to somebody who has that expertise, ask all of those questions, and that person will really help mentor you, help you understand exactly which program is going to be the right fit for you and what's going to increase your chances of not only getting a letter of admission, but also success in Canada.
Great. Thank you so much, Eric, for that answer. And if you are also looking for education in Canada, you should go and check out Fanshawe College programs and the career opportunities that they have to offer as an international student. So thank you so much, Eric, for sharing your valuable insights in this session. And I believe that today what we've discussed during this podcast will definitely, undoubtedly, benefit the students who are looking to start their journey as an international student. There is a lot of, I would say, scattered misinformation on various platforms these days, because of which the students tend to develop a conceived notions about how a life is in Canada or any other study destination right now. So I think it is really important for them to rely on a verified source of information to when it comes for them to take important decisions related to their future. So I think this is what we're trying to do here in this session. So at Silver Fern, our mission is to give you utmost guidance on studying abroad. So if you're also looking to start your journey as an international student, so do connect with us for expert advice to help you achieve your dreams. Thank you.